time you have devoted today and for the past few days in coming and giving us your support in our great time of sadness. I would be doing my father a great disservice if I did not say a few words about his life and the way he led it. Anybody that knew my father would agree that he was a very charismatic character with an air of authority about him. His friends extended to all corners of the world, and this has been more evident since his passing, because in the past few days, with a number of messages of condolences that we have received from far and wide. Dad was born in his beloved Uganda in 1927, and he was one of 9 children. He loved them all to his dying days, but in particularly he loved his mother. His wish was always to be buried next to her in Rugby, and today we have fulfilled that. Dad bought that burial plot in 1988, exactly 30 years ago, in preparation for today. I've already mentioned that Dad loved his father, mother, brothers and sisters. However, it doesn't end there. He loved his wife Fiza, to whom he had been married for 62 years. He loved and cherished his 3 daughters, Shahida, Shabira and Shabnam. But the apple of his eyes were his 3 granddaughters, Sabina, Yasmin and Saira, who miss him ever so much. Dad's love extended to his distant family too, and he would not hesitate to support and help his nephews and nieces in any way he could. I know of many examples of him opening the doors to his house to anyone that was in need. He would look after them not just for days, but for many, many years. Dad's love extended to strangers and to anyone who worked for him. He recently returned to his hometown of Mabale in Uganda to look for somebody called James. James was his African housekeeper. To this day, there is still a photograph of James in the house. Sadly, Dad never found him, even though he advertised in every newspaper and radio bulletins. In 1972, Dad left during the Idi Amin exodus, and his family left everything that they owned behind. They were taken to an army camp where he became depressed at what had happened to him and his family. His pride and honor refused him to queue up in a line for food, so his children would queue up for him and bring him something to eat. The most important thing for Dad was for his children to get the best education. So whenever he was offered a property in different parts of the UK, he rejected them all until he was told Rugby had a brilliant school where his daughter would be well educated and prosper. He never chose the best house. He didn't choose to go where there was our community, but he chose the best school for his children. Sadly, Dad's beloved mother passed away while she was living with him in 1976, and it broke his heart. Since then, he always wanted to be buried next to her. He moved to Leicester and made a point of traveling 30 miles every Friday at lunchtime to visit her grave. It did not matter if the weather was good or bad. He would insist on going. He did this from 1985 to 2015, when he sadly started becoming ill and could no longer drive. Throughout his life, Dad was well organized and had impeccable records for everything going back years. He knew everyone's date of birth and if they were deceased, when they passed away. He would often call children of his close friends and remind them of forthcoming dates when their father or mother had died. He would even tell them what their favorite food was and what they should cook on that day. Dad was very sentimental, and he would bring out his old albums and pictures at any opportunity and reminisce about the good times and friends and family all over the world. His heart was always longing to return to Uganda, and especially Mbale, where he grew up. Sadly, Dad had become very unwell 3 to 4 years ago with a condition that affected his mobility, which sadly left him bedbound. It is due to the wonderful care of his three beloved daughters and his wife that he survived so long. They would tend to every need, day or night. Brothers and sisters, my father was not the type of man who would upset, argue, or fight with anyone. However, if he has inadvertently offended anyone, I apologize on his behalf and ask you to forgive him. He was always particular about his affairs and never had any debts. However, if anyone feels that this is not the case, please let me know so I can deal with this. Finally, on behalf of my family and the extended Sabur family, I thank the Leicester Jamaat in helping with his funeral over the last 3 or 4 days. The committee and the members of this Jamaat have been exceptional and will never be able to repay the kindness and love that they've shown to my family. We've had many messages of condolences that have gone a long way in helping us with our sad loss. However, please forgive us if we have not responded to each and every one of you personally. We are all heartbroken at this time. Can I please ask you to recite one Surah Fatiha for my father, Marhum Abdul Sabur. Thank you. Thank you.